Hello guys, I've been meaning to do a video on this, finally getting around to it. I'm going to try to go through this quick. For one thing, I don't like spreading things out, and for another, I'm feeling kind of off today. But to give you background, a couple of months ago, I think it was, I saw in the paper where my borough, which by the way, in Pennsylvania, small towns are called boroughs, and you have a borough council. And after this, I'll just be saying town or town council, but just so you know. Anyway, they passed an ordinance to inspect all rental properties. Now, I right off had a problem with that because, for one, what probable cause do you have to go out and do these inspections? I could see if you're doing it on a case-by-case basis, if somebody made a complaint, yes. The other thing that bothered me in it, well, I feel it's discriminatory. Why isn't it a ordinance to just inspect all property? You know, why is it that if you're a renter, somehow you're automatically doing something wrong? And another thing that bothered me in that article, it said, I think it was the code enforcement officer, who they just hired, I think, last year. Seems like one of those people that wants to, go out and make a name for himself or something. But anyway, he said, we'll be sure and let the owners know when we're coming around. Okay, yeah, that's great, but what about the fucking people that live there? You're going to tell the owner, but you're not going to contact the people that actually live in the house? It's my home. If you want to come here, you talk to me. So anyway, sometime after that, I got my first letter from the landlord. And this is like an annual thing that says notifying all tenants that the housing department will be inspecting your rental unit as part of our annual inspection procedure. That will be April 29 at approximately 10:30 a.m. And it says if you're not home, they'll inspect anyway. And that's all. It's part of the lease where they do an annual inspection. And I've never given them a hard time about doing that. It's great. And I'll tell you, usually my landlord's pretty good about maintenance and stuff like that. So that's all cool. But anyway, I didn't, oh, wait a minute. Let me see. I'm thinking this had, oh yeah. It said, and then page 2 is Osceola Borough recently notified that they will start conducting their own inspections yearly. Attached is a list of things they're looking for. I don't care. That inspection is scheduled for May 27th. Okay. So, by the way, these came from Mindy, who is the site manager. And on the day in question, Mindy and the maintenance boss came to do the inspection. Took me a little off guard because I totally had my days messed up. I didn't know who the hell had come into my house. And then, they said who they were and stuff. I was like, fine. And she mentioned about, and the borough will be doing theirs on May 27th. And I said, the hell they will, or something along those lines. I said, I'm not submitting to any inspection. I have a Fourth Amendment right against searches and seizures. So after that, I got another letter. Now this comes from someone called Michelle, who's the executive director. And it says, I am writing to formally acknowledge your recent statement indicating that you intend to refuse access for the upcoming inspection of your unit, which is scheduled in cooperation with local code enforcement. Please be reminded that under the terms of your lease, You have agreed that the landlord and the landlord's representatives have a right to enter the lease process at reasonable time. Premises, sorry. This includes the right to inspect, make repairs, perform maintenance, and show the premises to others. The scheduled inspection falls within this. Please be advised that refusal to provide access not only violates your lease agreement, but may also result in fines, penalties, and other enforcement actions imposed by local authorities. Any fines, costs, or penalties assessed to the landlord or the property as a direct result of your noncompliance will be billed to you, the tenant, and become your financial responsibility. We respectfully request that you allow access, blah, 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 blah. Failure to cooperate might compel the agency to take further action. Now, at this point, I called and left a voicemail. I wish I'd have recorded my what I said, but I know I said, look, I have a right, a Fourth Amendment right, not to submit to government searches. And also I said, like, first of all, I'd given them permission. I hadn't fought them on the actual inspection. That's part of my lease. And this part where it says landlord and landlord's representatives. Well, the landlord's representative is not the borough code enforcement officer. They're not going to try to play games and say, oh, he's coming as our representative. No, he's a government official. It's not part of my lease to let him in. So a little while after leaving that voicemail, I got another letter from Miss Michelle. I am writing to follow up on the voicemail I received from you on May 5 regarding the scheduled inspection of your unit. I want to clarify that this inspection is not a search of your personal belongings or private property. Fuck you, you're not going to play semantics games with me. They're looking, they're not searching. No, it's a search. The government is coming into my house to look around. That is a search. Rather, the purpose of the inspection is to strictly to access the condition of the unit itself, including its structure, safety features, and compliance with housing and building codes. The inspector will examine elements such as smoke detectors, plumbing, heating, electrical systems, and overall unit maintenance to ensure the residence meets the required health and safety standards. Go screw yourself. My landlord himself's inspected. They need someone else to come in and look after them. Like I said before, if they had some kind of complaint, like if I called them and I said, hey, my plumbing's all screwed up and the landlord won't do anything about it, fine. Come in and look at it, and then they could talk to the landlord. I hope this clarification helps address any concerns you may have. We kindly ask that you allow access as scheduled so that we may comply with legal and regulatory requirements. Please feel free to contact me directly if you have further questions or if you wish to discuss any concerns before the inspection date. Failure to cooperate with Osceola Mills Borough may result in the landlord receiving fines up to $500. Any fine received due to your noncompliance will be billed to you. First of all, if you get fined for something you did, it's not my responsibility to pay for it. Okay? If you get fined for something I did, you're an idiot to accept that. So what's next? Are you going to have all your tenants have their speeding and parking tickets sent to you? If they want to find me, they can try to find me. But as far as I'm concerned, they have no right to come here without a warrant. It's the government. I don't care if they call themselves a cop or a code enforcement officer. I don't care if they say they're looking around or they're providing a search. It's still the Fourth fucking Amendment to the Constitution. I do not have to submit to unwarranted searches. Let them come up with probable cause and go to a judge and get a warrant if they want. It ain't happening. As soon as I get done with this, I kept thinking how I'd respond. If she'd had an email on here, I'd have written this all up. But instead, I'm going to call and tell her where she can come and see this message to see how I feel about this. As far as I'm concerned, that code enforcement officer is not entering my home. And you know, and this executive director lady should know. I mean, these people have a lot of rental units. They should know the law. The landlord cannot give up the tenant's right to a search. Once you rent or lease property to somebody, this becomes my home and my castle. The landlord's got nothing to do with the government intrusion. So that's all I had to say. That's how I feel. And, you know, it kind of pisses me off that the landlord seems more concerned about bowing down to the borough than it does worried about their tenants' rights. And they actually seem to be trying to play stupid word games to help the borough violate my rights. Okay, so that's all. Thanks for listening. I have no idea what the comments are, but thanks for coming in, Nerdy and Finkel. We'll see you all later.
And that's the way it is.